They could have strutted down a runway, elbowing each other the whole way down, and it couldn't have been more clear that this whole thing was just an aura off. Yes, sir, the man with no name is back, and he's called Monko. Are you shitting me? Anyway, okay. He's out bounty hunting around like a sexy little cowboy, and he's still the pettiest man in the West, apart from maybe Sergio Leone, who it turns out literally named this film For a Few Dollars More to piss off some studio executives he had a falling out with. Ow. For a Few Dollars More stars Clint Eastwood as Monko and Lee Van Cleef as Colonel Douglas Mortimer. You know, there is a reason that we all agreed in The Good, the Bad and the Ugly just to call them The Man with No Name and Angel Eyes. It's because that sounds so much cooler to say than the epic struggle between Monko and Douglas. Anyway, so Douglas is also a badass bounty hunter. He's older, he's wiser, he dresses fancier, and he's literally got a bigger gun. And he runs into Clint Eastwood's character, and they just look like they want to kiss so goddamn bad. He's basically that one neighbor who has this like really nice garden and is always so condescending, and you just want to get drunk and piss on his bushes one time, theoretically. There's this villain, he breaks out of prison, and these two are both after him because they're both bounty hunters, which Clint Eastwood's character always was he? No, but okay, anyway. And he's called El Indio, which means it's Spanish for the Indian. Because there was only one of those in the West. Like, what's going on here? It just doesn't matter. My problem with this film, as much as I have a problem with this film, because I still think it's very good, even though I do think, for sure, it's the weakest of the trilogy, but my real problem with it is that it's too long. It's, you know, I say that loving The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, which is much longer, but this one, the story it's telling, there's just not enough of it there. I mean, it's crazy to me that an hour had gone by before these two, like, meet. Before Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef meet and start shooting at each other's hats. Which is a great scene. And from there on, I do think the film's really good. The whole second half, if you will. But that first hour, not a lot happening. Like, damn. So I definitely think if they just cut that first part down, definitely this would have probably matched A Fistful of Dollars for me. But it doesn't. So Monko and Douglas team up to fight El Indio. That sentence hurt my teeth. Anyway, they're going after El Paso Bank, Indio's whole gang. So Clint Eastwood just sneaks into his gang and joins up. And then Douglas turns up and joins up as well, which is not the plan that they had, to team up and take all the loot. But hey, you know, they just love backstabbing each other. They both serve so much unimaginable levels of cunt. Like, they are both such cheeky, naughty little boys, and I can't believe that they just don't kiss at some point, honestly. If Clint Eastwood wasn't the most straight white man that a person could be, they would have kissed, I'm telling you. Like, that little tune that plays and then they draw, the showdown in the finale is great. The weirdness of Eastwood kind of being slightly off to the side, I can get over that enough to really still enjoy this film a lot, for sure. It's saying it's the weak point of the trilogy is, you know, like saying, oh, this is the least tasty garlic bread I've had this week. All garlic bread is good. And I just love when they actually do team up. You know, there's a lot of scenes where they're not actually teaming up. The scenes where they're like actually working together, even if reluctantly, are so funny and so good and so enjoyable. And there are a lot of great shootout scenes. I mean, the final kind of, I think like 30 minutes-ish is just one long, like, oh, like you can't take your eyes off the screen the whole time still. It is excellent, but it just is such a slow burner. The quality of the film kind of starts out real slow for a long time and then kind of voops up, like, pretty suddenly as it goes on. But yeah, that first hour just lets it down a bit, I think. Compared to like the first hour of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, so much more is just happening, I feel like, and it's just so much better as a setup. The tension is great here. The build is also good. The villain, fine. Fine. But I'm not reaching the point where I'm like rewatching the trilogy and I come to this one in the middle. I'm not going like, ah, shit. Like, I still really enjoy it. It is just, I feel like the other two have such special places as one of the best short westerns out there, and probably the best. just Western there is, you know, so I feel like this one just doesn't quite have its own thing as much, you know what I mean? But you still enjoy watching Return of the Jedi, even though it's clearly worse than the other two. And I'm giving, what the hell did all these hats do to you people? 4 stars. Come on, nobody thinks this is the best in the trilogy, right? Put your hands up. You're out there. People are out there. Everyone has every opinion possible on films. But nobody thinks, like, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly isn't the best in this trilogy. No, there definitely will be people like that, but they're crazy.